In fact, I sat down with my team and we talked about like what are the 3 or 4 really kind of like big hairy audition goals that we want to set for the upcoming year, right? Not to date myself too much with a BHAG reference, but the idea of like what are the things that really has to change long term in our organization because of the business changes that we're going through. And I think, we love to talk about AI. Like every HR call that I've been on the last 2 years has been overly AI centric, but that inherently changes who your company is. And so we this year have spent a lot of time talking about workforce planning and what is the organization design of the future. And maybe I'll go back to a Walmart example on this that will help to solidify it. Walmart several years ago, we came through the idea of self-checkout replacing the cashiers at a higher level. And if you think about most companies, when they've replaced people through automation or through changes, it's not that big of a number. But for Walmart, that was 250 to 275,000 cashiers in the US that would no longer have a job, right? And so we had to sit back and say, what are the plans for the workforce that we're going to put in place in order to enable them to either be great here at Walmart in a different role or great outside of Walmart, but with better knowledge for having spent time with us. And so we went through a lot of things like launching college education for $1 a day or reskilling on technology or preparing people for doing things like grocery pickups or doing things on the sales floor with technology that maybe they weren't used to using as a cashier. And while the company has changed over time and they've kind of ebbed and flow in the level of self-checkout or in pickup, and their commitment to cashiers, I think is a little bit different than we envisioned maybe 10 years ago. That was an important learning for me to say, okay, the workforce has to have a place to go. And so we're focused this year on saying, how do we think about AI as an enhancer of skill and capabilities for certain jobs, and then as a replacement for skill and capability for other jobs, and then work on the organizational designs that are required to build the skills for the enhancements, and then understand what commitments we need to make for the people that are maybe going to have their functions replaced, but in the future they could play a different role for us, or we have to figure out how they can be successful in other parts of the world. And as an employer of greater than 13,000 people, it's important for us to think about, how to use that talent in the right way. And it is a different modality for somebody to listen into an AI and a customer interactions and know how to navigate that immense level of data in order to solve a problem. And so we're working today on what are the ability and that our training departments need, that our leaders need, and ultimately that our team members need to operate in that capability. And that will be a big function for us this year to prepare for the ultimate, implementations of what we think are going to change all of those jobs on a daily basis. And then, that if you take this out far enough, right, we could see a world where autonomous drones are employed in someone's home to put out a kitchen fire as the fire starts and not requiring a first responder. But what are the skills and capabilities that we need to have in place, and what is the technology enablement that we need to have in place in order to do that? And so if I understand the business goals, where all of this starts at business goal and business value, I can think of the human capital implications, my job at that table, and then help to build an org design and a job architecture and a skill competency that builds us to that future as well.